Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me here today as we get to talk about one of my favorite subjects, comic books. My name is Jose. I love comic books. I love talking about them. I love sharing them with you. Feel free to follow me on social media if you would like. Links are in the description below. I've also posted a link to the story we're about to cover today if you would like to get plot synopsis and character histories and stuff like that. So, we are going to start in the very beginning. We're going to be looking at Amazing Fantasy number 15, the first appearance of the one and only, the Amazing Spider-Man. This cover is by Jack Kirby, not Steve Ditko. Steve Ditko had a different cover, which I think was finally put in Amazing, and I think it was Amazing Spider-Man and number 700. That cover looked something like this. So, but Stan Lee wanted something different. So we went with the version that we are current. I don't know. We're used to the first one, but do you think this one is that bad that Stan Lee was like, let's get Jack Kirby to do the cover instead of Ditko? I don't know. I guess you tell me. So, anyway, this is what the cover looked like before the Jack Kirby issue or cover that we're used to today. So, this issue was released in June of 1962. So, here we go. I had the Marvel Tales reprint of this. Man, I was in elementary school. I must have read it about 100 times when I was a kid. Which explains the relatability that Spider-Man had with kids back then. So, I now have it in several different. I have the Epic collection. I also have those hard what was it? I forgot what it's called. But I have a few versions of this story still. Nothing as valuable as the original. So we basically get look at how the his aunt and uncle are portrayed as just these grandparents that are ready to go. So, all right, let's go here. So, as you may have gathered, Peter Parker was far from being the biggest man on campus, but his Uncle Ben thought he was a pretty special lad. You're not fooling me, Petey. I know you're awake and it's time for school. And Peter goes, "Gosh, Uncle Ben, you're worse than a room full of alarm clocks." As for Pete's Aunt May, she thought the sun rose and set upon her nephew. I cooked your favorite breakfast, Petey, wheat cakes. And Uncle Ben says, "Don't fan him too much, dear. I can hardly out-wrestle him now." So, the faculty at Midtown High were also fond of the clean-cut, hard-working honor student. "Keep up the good work, Parker, and you're sure you're sure to rate a scholarship when you graduate." "I'll do my best, sir. But alas, other teenagers can sometimes unwittingly be very cruel to a shy young man." You know, it's funny, that is still the case. There were bullies when I went to high school, and there were bullies when my daughter went to high school, and I'm sure there are bullies now. So, human beings do not change. So, here, Peter's like, "Sally, I was wondering if you're busy tonight." And then she's like, "Peter, for the upteenth time, you're just not my type. Not when dreamboats like Flash Thompson are around. I admire your good taste, doll. Get lost, bookworm," as he pushes him away. Look, there's a great exhibit at the science hall tonight. Would any of you like to go with me? Science hall, ha! You stick to science, son. We'll take the chicks. So, yes, for some, being a teenager has many heartbreaking moments. Give our regards to the Atom Smasher, Peter. See you around, bookworm. So, someday I'll show them sob. Someday they'll be sorry. Sorry they laughed at me. It would have been kind of a little cool if you could have just had some tears there, but all right. So he's going to that science exhibit, and so, and a few minutes later, Peter Parker forgets the taunts of his classmates as he is transported to another world, the fascinating world of atomic science. And now for a demonstration of how we can control radioactive rays here in the laboratory. But as the experiment began, no one notices a tiny spider descending from the ceiling in an almost invisible strand of web. And here, the radioactive machines turn on. A spider whom fate has given a starring, if brief, role to play in the drama we call life. Accidentally absorbing a fantastic amount of radioactivity, the dying insect in sudden shock bites the nearest living thing at the split second before life ebbs from its radioactive body. And Peter goes, ow. And, man, that's a huge spider. A spider, it bit me, but why is it burning so? Why is it glowing so? Man, that's not a little spider. All right. My head, it feels strange. I need some air. Looks as though our experiment unnerved young Parker. Too bad. He must have a weak stomach. So, little color accident here with the yellow. What's happening to me? I feel different, as though my entire body is charged with some sort of fantastic energy. Wrapped in his thoughts, Peter doesn't hear the auto, which narrowly misses him until the last instant, and then, unnoticed by the riders, he unthinkingly leaps to safety. But what a leap it is! That was one egghead who won't daydream anymore when he crosses the street. You can say that again. So, I really like the kind of going into the panel. What's come over me? I'm scaling this wall just as easily as I can walk. And this kid's like, Mommy, look at that man walking up the side of a building. And the mom's like, that's the last horror movie I take you to, young man. It's incredible. I reached the roof in just a few seconds. What's this? I crushed this steel pipe as though it were paper. It has to be the spider. It has to be, somehow. In some miraculous way, his bite transferred his own power to me. I can walk down this cable as effortlessly as the spider itself can glide along a web. I love this panel here. I've got to have time to think. I've got to plan I've got to plan what to do with this unbelievable ability which fate has given me. A few minutes later, and here you see the sentence says 100 to the man who can stay in the ring into the ring 3 minutes with Crusher Hogan. So, this will be a good chance to test my power again. In the first Spider-Man movie, the one that Sam Raimi directed, Crusher Hogan is the Macho Man, Randy Savage. So, filled with excitement, Pete races back home, and I'll put on some old clothes and leave my glasses here. But what if I fail? I don't want to be a laughingstock. I'll find a way to disguise myself. So, a few minutes later, I'll try that for $100, Crusher. Well, if it ain't a little mass marvel. Step up, sucker. Now, just relax, Shorty. I'll try to make this as painless as possible. And Peter evades him. It works. I have the speed, the agility, and the very strength of a gigantic spider. And he's like, hey, put me down. You win. You're not human. Nobody can do that. Wanna bet? And these people are like, the greatest act I've ever seen. Sensational, fantastic. That mask gimmick gives him just the right touch of mystery. He was terrific. And this guy's like, that mask character may be just what I've been looking for. Look at all that's happened. It's just page 5. That's so cool with how comic books were so compacted back then. Even into the 80s, but then came the 90s, and Image kind of changed how comic books are done. You can say for the better, for the worse, I don't know. But these comic books from the 60s to the 80s were just so full of stuff. So, anyway, listen, friend, I'm a TV producer. With that act of yours, I can make you a fortune and keep the mask angle. It's great showmanship. Here's my card. Call me. You'd be a smash on Ed Sullivan's shows. Thanks, says Peter, counting the money. Later at home again. Showmanship? He hasn't seen anything yet. Since I have the powers of a spider, I'll design myself a spider costume. And, oh, hi, Aunt May, as she brings him some milk and crackers. So, you look a little tired, Petey. So we brought you some crackers and milk. Oh, how awesome. Um, Whether or not this is how people acted in the 60s, which I doubt, because human beings are assholes to begin with, and like I always say, life doesn't change. Um, I would probably venture that this, what you see in TV and in comic books probably is not a real take on how real life in the 60s was. So, all right. So, Peter's here making his little web shooters. And he's like, crackers and milk, bless them. If they only knew. Now, let's see. A spider needs web. This little device should just do the trick. I'll fasten one to each arm. It'll operate by the slightest pressure of any finger. I'll need a name. Well, I guess Spiderman is as good as any. Looks pretty good if I do say so myself. And here's the first image of Spider-Man. You know, hey, it's the 60s, and but doesn't look too bad. Good job by Steve Ditko. So you can see he hasn't quite figured out what to do, but so they laughed at me for being a bookworm, eh? Well, only a science major could have created a device like this. With some strong liquid cement at the end, I can pull myself up anywhere with my little web. And my costume is thin enough to wear unseen under my street clothes. Okay, world, better hang on to your hat. Here comes Spider-Man. So, part 2. All right. And so, again, they could have fixed it. I know that it was on the original, but they could have fixed this part. So, to be read. So, all right. So they're taking the he's at a TV station here. I'm seeing it with my own eyes, and I still don't believe it. Sure, they look amazed, incredible, awe-stricken. Wouldn't you? After all, when was the last time you saw a man with his own fantastic spider web? Okay, Spider-Man, cut. That's enough. Don't show him too much. Leave him begging for more, says the guy here. As his first TV spectacular ends, Peter Parker breathes the first sweet scent of fame and success. I'm from Life. We'll pay any price for a picture spread. Sign with me. I'll put you in the movies. Wait, we want an interview. See my agent, boys. I'm busy. And then he's like, whew, rid of him at last. Hey, what's going on? Stop, thief, stop. If he makes it into the elevator, he'll get away. And he's like, I made it. I'm safe now. That cop can never get down to the lobby as fast as I can in this high-speed express elevator. Lucky that goon in the costume didn't stop me. And the cop goes, What's with you, mister? All you had to do was trip him or hold him for a minute. And he's like, sorry, pal. That's your job. I'm through being pushed around by anyone. From now on, I look out for number one. That means me. It's weird seeing the costume, the web, just a little kind of messy, but it really does add to, I don't know, the I don't know. What you tell me. I like seeing this messiness. So I had to run you in. Save your breath, buddy. I've got things to do. And a few hours later, Peter, you know that microscope you've always wanted? Your uncle and I bought it for you this afternoon. And he's like, gosh, that's terrific. You're the greatest family any fella ever had. And so, and Peter thinks here, they're the only ones who've ever been kind to me. I'll see to it that they're always happy, but the rest of the world can go hang for all I care, he says. Look at them looking at him. That's just, I, I like it. So, all right. In the days that follow, the Spider-Man becomes the sensation of the nation, and here's all the headlines here. You know, like I said, I understand that it was blue when this first appeared, but it's red now. So, like I said, they for continuity's sake, they perhaps could have colored it. But and one evening, as Peter Parker returns home from a personal appearance, a police car in front of our house. What can be wrong? And this cop says, bad news, son. Your uncle has been shot, murdered. He's like, Uncle Ben, dead. No, it can't be. Who did it? Who shot him? As he's very angry. It was a burglar. Your uncle surprised him. But don't worry, lad. We've got him trapped. He's in the old Acme warehouse at the waterfront. We'll get him. And he says, your aunt is next door. The neighbors are looking after her. I've got to get him, he says as he runs inside. I know the old Acme warehouse. It's been deserted for years. A killer could hold off an army in that gloomy old place. But he won't hold off Spider-Man as he crawls out. Look at this. Just 9 pages. So, the warehouse is at the other side of town, but I'll get there in no time as he slings away. Meanwhile, he's in there somewhere, but he'll pick us off like flies if we charge him. And the robber's like, all I gotta do is hold him off till the moon goes down. Then I ought to be able to slip away in the dark. And off panel, Spider-Man says, you'll never escape me again, murderer. And he's like, what the? Surprised to see me. Not half so surprised as you're going to be. Great panel. Great composition. I like it. Gotta get away. Gotta hide. I must be seeing things. And Peter gets in front. There's no place on earth where you can hide from me. First, my web will relieve you of your gun, and then my fist will do the rest as he punches him. That face, it's, oh no, it can't be. I love the eyes. That is so, I just love it. When I first saw this when I was a kid, I thought maybe it was some kind of misprint or something. But it's a fugitive who ran past me, the one I didn't stop when I had the chance. And this cop says, I hate to do it, but we'll have to rush him now. Can't take a chance of him slipping up in the dark. And the other guy goes, Captain, look. It's him on a spider's web. And so, and a short distance away. My fault, all my fault. If only I had stopped him when I could have, but I didn't. And now Uncle Ben is dead. And as a lean, silent figure slowly fades into the gathering darkness, aware at last that in this world with great power there must also come great responsibility. And so a legend is born, and a new name is added to the roster of those who make the world of fantasy the most exciting realm of all. So it says here, be sure to see the next issue of Amazing Fantasy for the further amazing exploits of America's most different new teenage idol, Spider-Man. Of course, what they ended up doing was canceling Amazing Fantasy and giving Spider-Man his own title, The Amazing Spider-Man. So anyway, Amazing Fantasy 15 from 1962. Hope you enjoyed it. It was a blast looking at this again. I don't think I've looked at it in years. And I said, oh my goodness, because I've been covering Spider-Man. And I said, oh, I really should do a couple of the early stuff. So anyway, hope you enjoyed it. Like and subscribe. And I do thank you for listening. Goodbye.